Namanda, 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 Namanda. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Ohayou gozaimasu. Okay, nice to have different people here today. It's nice to see. So nice to have everyone here for this whole service. I'd like to go over the service order with you today. Okay, we're going to have the sutra chanting of the Sambujo, and then this will be followed by the Shobyakumon that I will announce at my seat. And then we'll chant the Shoshinge. Shoshinge is on page 33. Okay. It's one of our longer chants, but when we have Shinran Shonin services, it's nice to have one of the chants, the chant that he has written. So special for today's service, we'll chant the Shoshinge. Then we're going to have Gatha. I'll come back and announce the pages so you don't have to remember everything right now. And then I'll have the Dharma message for you. And we'll have our second Gatha following our temple president, Iko. So with that, we will begin Sambujo, page 24-25, and Hyobyakumon, Shoshinge, page 33. Namanda, 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 Namanda. With a profound sense of gratitude, the members and friends of our temple have gathered here this morning to observe the annual memorial service for our founder, Shinran Shonin. The Nembutsu teachings have been transmitted through the 7 spiritual masters. We gather to acknowledge our gratitude for Shinran Shonin for having clarified and transmitted the valuable Nembutsu Dharma. May we begin to hear the timeless call of reassurance that continues to come from the world of immeasurable and inconceivable light and life in the form of the Namo Fukashigiko Ozo Bosatsu Niji Zai Seiji Zai Obusho Token Shobutsu Jodoin Kokudo Ninden Shizenma Kondyu Mujo Shushogan Chohotsuke Udai Guze Gokoshi Uishi Shoju Jusei Myosho Monjippo Fuho Muryo Muhenko Muge Mutai Koen no Shoujo Kangi Chieko Fudananji Mushoko Chonichi Gakko Shojinsetsu Issai Gunjo Mukosho Ongan Myogo Shojogo Shishin Shingyo Ganin Joto Gakusho Dainehan Ishi Metsudo Ganjoju Nyorai Shoho Iko Shuse Yui Satsumida Hongankai Gojoku Akuji Gunjokai Oshin Nyorai Nyojitsugon No Tsuichinen Kiaishin Fudan Bon no Tokunehan Bonjo Gyaku Hosai Enyu Nyoshu Shinyu Kaichimi Seshu Shinko Joshogo Ino Sui Hamu Myoan Tonnai Shinzo Shiyunmu Jofu Shinjitsu Shinjinten Inyo Nikko Funmu Funmu Shige Myomuan Gyakushin Kenkyo Daikyo Ki Soku Ocho Zetsugo Akushu Issai Zen Maku Bombunin Monshin Nyorai Guzegan Butsugon Kodai Shogesha Zenin Myo Fundari Kemida Butsu Hongan Nembutsu Jaken Kyoman Nakushujo Shingyo Juji Jinninan 南中非南昔、インド最天子論下、中華自治域地こそ、現代諸国摂生意、妙如来四税要期、釈迦如来両河線、一種五妙南天寺、無限先絶大乗無情法召喚議事小安楽賢治南行六六新行異行指導楽億年弥陀仏本願次年即時入一上唯の上昇如来語法大偶税音天神菩薩増論説奇妙無下光如来月州たら見真実光線の頂大聖願こういう本願力栄光移動群上昇一心記入功徳大崩壊実逆入大永修修特使蓮華造世界即昇信用法精進有本の人間人図入所自音自用下本師論壇両天地上高蘭消防殺来三蔵ルシ十条教本上宣教気楽法天神菩薩論中下報道因果見世願方言猫ゆたり少女死因類信心惑前本部新人ポツ生じ即涅槃必死無量光明道小修上回復家同社結晶道南省唯名浄土活入万全自力円言宗円満特防感染症三不三神経音言増末法滅道因一生増悪地偶税死安如外称名化全道独名仏性意公愛上三用逆悪公明明語見人年海入本願大智慧行者小受今後心狂気一年相互用意大と逆三人即小法小四上ら 現神公開一大教、延期安女間一切、先祖終身反戦人、法華二度小弁流、国中悪人類小物、が薬剤非摂取中、煩悩証言水不見、大非無見上昇が、本資源新宗教書後編集先着本願具惑星現代小自輪伝下血地義上一生死即入弱上無意楽一心人意の入愚教大自主死と調裁無変極上悪同族自主愚道心有意化心死高層説南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿成仏のこの方は今に自己を得たまえりおしんの降臨きわもなくせのもうよを照らすなり南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏南無阿弥陀仏無量の所相ことごとくお受けうかむらあぬものはなし真実妙に奇妙せよ南無阿弥
ゆえの そこりぬ異教へを奇妙せよナモアミダンブナモアミダンブナモアミダンブぶこせうえう最大一公園のぶと名付けたり三途の国湾開くなり大王具を奇妙せよ何にしくどく平等せ一切同発もないし往生安楽Namanda, Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Very good chanting. And do that more often so we get used to it. Okay, super. Okay, now we'll have our our first gatha, Namo Amida Butsu, on page 174. This will be followed by the three treasures on page 8. Please stand. Treasures on page 8. Judy, I think we could turn it down a little bit. Three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. Take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in the spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda. Please be seated. Now we have an opportunity for this Dharma message. So today is our Ho. Can you hear? Higher, higher, higher. Is this better now? Yeah. Yay. Okay. Today we have our Ho service. Ho means debt of gratitude observance. Debt of gratitude. So this is a memorial for Shinran Shonin, our founder, and he passed away January 16th, 1263, and here in our temple, although it's January 16th, we acknowledge November 28th, and this is because we observe some of our temples, and Higashi Honganji recognizes November 28th from the lunar calendar. So we have two different calendars sometimes. So I think most of our BCA temples recognize January, but a few of them recognize November. Sometimes confusing. It's good when we have guest speakers because they could have their own in January and come to ours in November. So sometimes it works to our advantage. So the purpose of our Ho gatherings, not only to recognize Shinran Shonin, but also to express gratitude to Amida Buddha for allowing us to awaken to this ultimate meaning of life. Okay? So we do this in our practice as we listen to the Dharma talks, and we come to the services and participate in ritual, and we enjoy spending time with our fellow Sangha members, and each of these things are keys to our practice. So I think we still have our service books, so if your hands are free, you can look at page 140. Okay, and this is one of our Gobonsho readings, and we don't use it too often. There are a number of Gobonsho readings in this section, and some of you are familiar. When we come to our Shin Buddhist funerals, we read On the White Ashes, and it explains the Shin Buddhist perspective upon facing death. So this is probably the most familiar one, but another one is called Shonin Ichiryu no Sho, chapter on the teachings of Shinran Shonin. So this is very basic teachings, okay? And so each of these Gobonsho, Renyo Shonin, who's on the other side of our altar, he wrote a number of letters in very simple Japanese and passed them out throughout the countryside to the farmers, the peasants, the everyday working class people. And so this is describing this Jodo Shinshu perspective on a number of topics. And so this one is on the teachings of Shinran Shonin. So I'd like to read this to you today. It says, Shinran Shonin taught that the essence of Jodo Shinshu is Shinjin. The reason is that by abandoning all other practices and completely entrusting ourselves in Amida Buddha, our spiritual rebirth is assured by Amida through the inconceivable power of the primal vow. This is known as entering the ranks of the truly assured at the very moment of Shinjin. Thereafter, all utterances of the Nembutsu should be understood only as expressions of gratitude for Amida's assurance of our spiritual rebirth. With reverence, I remain. Okay? So you can look at that on occasion. You don't need to look at it right now, but you can put your books down after you finish reading that. So the key word here is Shinjin. There are many key words in this short paragraph, but the one we want to talk about and emphasize is Shinjin. Okay, so Shinjin is kind of awakening, our awakening. Okay, and it may be an awareness that Amida is not only all things that surround us, but including us as well. Okay, this is the teaching of interdependence, all things. And we're brought to recognize this interdependence of all things, and that we are an integral part of it, not something separate out there and away from us, but we are a part of this. So other Pure Land schools, they might teach that it's the recitation of Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu. That's the most important thing that helps us lead the way to our awakening, okay? Or maybe they'll emphasize doing good deeds, doing compassionate things, okay? And this would be the cause of our birth in the Pure Land. But our tradition, Shinran Shonin's tradition, it says Shinjin, entrusting is the cause of birth. So the key word is Shinjin, okay? So we focus on this today. And some of you, my age, older than me, you might remember our older service books. We used to read, I put my faith in Buddha, right? I put my faith in Dharma. I put my faith in Sangha. And faith is what Shinjin was translated to. Faith, okay? But it's a very Christian term, and it doesn't have all the connotations that Shinjin has. So some people thought we should just use the term Shinjin and not translate it into faith. And so there was a lot of debate for a long, long time. And finally they thought maybe entrusting might be much closer to what is being said in this Shinjin, different than faith. Okay? So these are kind of important how things develop to come to this point. So Shinjin, entrusting. In Japanese, some of you might know the term omakase. Omakase means entrusting. So often people want the easy answers. Well, which one is it? Which one? What are we supposed to be thinking about, right? And they want the easy answer, and it's not that easy. So we want to consider these words and how they develop. And so the notion of Shinjin, awakening, is very much multi-layered, very nuanced. And so we don't want to look for just a simple answer. It's very delicate, and we have to look at it as such. So back to omakase, okay? It's a Japanese word of omakase. Some of you have gone to Japanese restaurant. Do you remember omakase there? Anybody? No? You taught English in Japan. Did you ever see omakase at the Japanese restaurant? Even here, sometimes you'll see, usually you don't get to that part of the menu because omakase you see it, it's the most expensive thing on the menu, right? So maybe at a sushi bar or a very high-end Japanese restaurant, on the menu, there'll be maybe a part that says omakase, right? And so this means I'll leave it to you, okay? So when you order omakase, you're giving permission to the chef to make whatever he wants, what he thinks you would enjoy and appreciate. So you're telling the chef, I trust you, okay? So at the restaurant, you're giving complete confidence in the chef to create this artfully crafted, beautiful to the eyes, fragrant to the nose, tantalizing to the taste buds, delicate perfection. My mouth is starting to water as I speak, okay? So this is what omakase is. Something very good. You're entrusting in the chef to make this special dish. So myself, I've never ordered omakase. It's expensive. You have to go with a rich uncle or something like that. Have somebody else pay for it because I can't, right? So special dish, okay? So if you're just a regular customer, you don't look at that part of it. You order something off the regular menu, and the chef knows that you don't really know. You can't afford the omakase. He'll make something good, and he'll know. You'll appreciate it. You'll be satisfied. So you're kind of at a different level, really. And Furumoto Sensei at Senshin, he wrote about this, and he's describing a trip he went to Japan in the summertime, and he was in Kyoto and visiting his brother-in-law who worked at a very high-end restaurant and hotel. Okay, everything is expensive. The restaurant is expensive. The bar is expensive, and one of the Japan's top bartenders who makes cocktails, he made cocktails there. So Sensei, he had to wait, was waiting to meet his brother-in-law, so he went to the bar, and he doesn't drink cocktails usually. He likes to drink beer, but he's at this special place, and his brother told him, just get anything you want. So he kind of had permission, So he thought about it, and so he thought, I'm going to order this omakase. So he told the bartender, omakase de onegai shimasu. So the bartender could make whatever he decided would be best for Sensei, right? So after Sensei ordered this, he had second thoughts, right? It's kind of expensive. Maybe he should have ordered like a frozen margarita. It's so hot, humid in Japan, and it would have been cold and icy and refreshing. So what? Too late now. He already ordered, right? So he started to watch this bartender putting his drink into place, right? And so the bartender asked his assistant, bring this white peach, Japanese peach, okay? This is happens to be Sensei's favorite peach, this white peach from Japan. So he's watching, and the bartender cuts this very delicate peach, and he puts parts of it into the blender, a little bit of ice, made this momo. Peach is called momo in Japanese. So a momo smoothie. Then he added some liquor and pours it into a cup, sprig of mint on top, and he serves this to Sensei. Sensei takes a sip. Oishii. Sappari, so tasty. Sappari means refreshing, so refreshing. And so this omakase cocktail was so good. Okay, so Sensei was cooled and refreshed, and he's just wondering, how did the bartender know that momo, the Japanese peach, is my favorite fruit? So everything was just perfect and perfectly served, perfectly created by doing this omakase. Okay, so this omakase has a sense of entrusting, not deciding or determining or controlling with our own design, okay? Not our own effort. So everything is prepared for us and we receive it, okay? We don't know what we need to do to reach the Pure Land. So we should just omakase, entrust. And this mentality, state of mind is shinji, okay? That's our own effort. So today we chanted the Shoshinge. So you can look at your book again. Look at page 40. This is the Shoshinge after the first few pages. And the second verse. Okunen mi da butsu hongan. Okay? It says, one is naturally brought to enter the stage of the definitely settled. So solely saying the Tathagata's name constantly, one should respond with gratitude to the universal vow of great compassion. One should respond with gratitude to the universal. Oops, I wrote that twice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is right. He teaches that the moment one thinks on Amida's primal vow, one is naturally brought to enter the stage of the definitely settled. Solely saying the Tathagata's name constantly, one should respond with gratitude to the universal vow of great compassion. Okay. So this is the Shinji that he's mentioning, and to say that the Tathagata's name is our response in gratitude. Okay. So Namo Amida Butsu is saying thank you for having awakened. So we have this moment of omakase and trusting, and through this we can awaken. So very nuanced again. You know, we might think, wait a minute, how do we just do that? How does this work? How do we just entrust, right? And so this mind of trying to figure it out, we're not entrusting, right? We're still, let me figure it out. Let me work out this puzzle first, and then I can entrust, right? And so it's kind of like a catch-22. If we were trying to read more and more books and figure it out, how does this work? What does this mean? Buddhist Sensei saying, then we're going around and around in our heads, and we're not leaving it to the chef, right? So it's kind of like this catch-22 where this is the difficult part. Our own effort continues to come in and stopping us from doing this omakase, right? So it's kind of like this. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk about omakase is that here, maybe a year, even 2 years ago, this is about Luis Yasuda Ota, okay? She was sitting here and I had talked and some of the people had left and we were talking about this kind of like awakening, just in passing, you know, not really sitting with each other talking, but she's in her seat and I'm just kind of going by. And she said, I just omakase. It was her smile, right? And I thought, wow, that's perfect, right? And that's what Louise was like, right? And in a week, we're going to do a funeral service for Louise. Unexpectedly, she passed away. And as I prepare for her funeral service, I learned that she was also a member at Enmanji in her younger days. Her children grew up over there, her first marriage, and they tell me she was the Fujinkai president at Enmanji. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Then, before she came here, she was a member at Southern Alameda Buddhist Church. And they're telling me, yeah, she worked in our office. So really, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's where she met her second husband. And when we're doing the pillow service at the hospital, all her siblings are telling me, she always said, oh, the temple is my second home. The temple is my second home. And she always said that to us. So this kind of mind to participate. She's not flaunting anything of what she knows or what she understands about Buddhism, but she does this omakase, right? I received this teaching and I am here in gratitude in my life, chanting with everyone, helping with food, just listening to Dharma messages, and this is her awakening. Perfect example, right? It's not the lecturers at IBS who are the Is it possible? Or is there anyone who's awakened? Is it only the historical Buddha that awakened? And sometimes people give you pause when you think back to how they were, how they treated you, how they acted, right? So this is all very important to recognize that this awakening, omakase, is a very real part of our practice. So when we recite Nam Mô Amida Butsu, we're acknowledging this interdependent net, and we are connected to all things. We are a part of all things, and in that sense, we are not alone. Okay? Nam Mô Amida Butsu, this calling voice from reality itself. When things get difficult, very trying in our own lives, the Nembutsu reminds us that we are connected, that we're not alone. We're a part of, not separate from. Okay? Some people fall into this. Isolation, rootlessness, suffering. And this is replaced with connection, groundedness, and peace. This is the recognition of oneness. We are enabled to continue, to persevere, to appreciate this path that we have to walk. So please put your hands together in Gassho, and I'll read this first letter that we started with. Shinran Shonin taught that the essence of Jodo Shinshu is Shinjin. The reason is that by abandoning all other practices, completely entrusting ourselves in Alameda Buddha, our spiritual rebirth is assured by Amida through the inconceivable power of the primal vow. This is known as entering the ranks of the truly assured at the very moment of Shinjin. Thereafter, all utterances of the Nembutsu should be understood only as expressions of gratitude for Amida's assurance of our spiritual rebirth. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Okay, thank you. So now we get to have our second Gatha, Ondok-san 2 on page 220. Please stand for Ondok-san. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Please be seated. Okay, do we have maybe some words of appreciation from our temple president, Iko? Or are there any announcements to be shared today? Were you given any announcements, Iko?
No, I'm just.
Just thank you, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Nice to see so many of you able to join us today for this special Hong observance commemoration of Shinran Shonin, our founder. Arranging for the service, setting up the 19 beautiful flowers, fruits, the oval pond. And I'd like to thank Judy Oda for being organist today and Sensei for his drummer message. I don't know if you noticed, but this last week we had as part of the Alameda Japanese American Community History Project, there was a marker installed on the gate on the fence on Pacific Avenue. And it's a beautiful marker. Describes a little bit about the history of the temple, and it's entitled "Life That Connects Us All." It's kind of fitting in the way that Sensei had described Shinji. Another announcement, another bit of news is that on December 11th, after our Bodhi Day service, we're going to have our general meeting, our annual general meeting. And this year it's going to be in person. The last 2 years it was done virtually, but this year we're going to have an in-person meeting. Following the service today, we have otoki, a very special meal that was arranged by and prepared by Jane Naito, Joyce Maniwa, and Yumi Yasuda. So please join us, and thank you for coming, and take care. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much, Yuko. Also, just a reminder that the food drive continues, and so if you need specific information, Joyce is the one to speak to, but we have the box here, and online we're able to contribute as well. So at this time I'm going to stop the video feed, and then I'll light the incense and then come up to offer incense. Okay, thank you.